I'll go to you. How much trouble do the Lakers appear to be in at this point?
Here's their big issue. Their big issue is so Austin Reaves came back about 8 games ago from his injury. Luka missed some time in there, but when Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reaves play together, they're just not a good team. And I mean, they've been leaning on the fact that injuries over the last 2 seasons have prevented them from really having a lot of time together. But the data is just the data, okay? When Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic play together, when it's just the two of them out there, the Lakers are an excellent team. When all 3 of them play out there, they're not. So it's actually a 20-point difference. If you look at every 100 possessions, if it's just Luka and Reaves, or it's the 3 of them, there's a 20-point spread between how the Lakers play over 100 possessions, okay? I could go more into the detail. That's just the way it is. They're one of the worst offensive teams in the league when those 3 guys are out there together. And that's crazy. You say, how can that be? These 3 guys are all scorers. The problem is they all relatively do the same thing. They all need the ball in their hands. And they've worked on it. LeBron's worked off of the ball to learn how to play off the ball. The 3 of them don't work well together. When it's just LeBron out there by himself, guys, they're a very good team. When it's the 2 of the 3, they're a very good team. When the 3 together, they're a bad team. They were a bad team offensively during this homestand.
Well, first of all, they played about 700, in the case of Luka and LeBron, they played about 747 minutes together. Per 100 possessions, they've been outscored by about 5.7 points. We get that part. The other part that we have to mention, Wendy, is that they're horrible defensively. The fact is with Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reaves on the court, you don't scare anybody. In the game of basketball, this needs to be said, Doggy, and Shae, Wendy knows this. In the game of basketball, no matter how great you are offensively, when somebody believes they can be just as great as you offensively, because defensively you are so efficient, that oozes confidence because they know they can score on you. In the game of basketball, that's just how the mindset works. You know, Jordan wasn't Jordan. Kobe wasn't Kobe just because they could score. It's because they could put you under lock and key. When they amped it up defensively, they could shut you down. Nobody's worried about that with Luka. Nobody's worried about that with AR. And nobody's worried about that at this stage of LeBron James' career. Maybe earlier on, but not right now. And so as a result of that, they ooze with confidence, and they're going to be in attack mode, and they're going to come at you, which is going to put more pressure on the Lakers' defense to find a way to be a bit more efficient. And they're having trouble doing that. So in the end, when you talk about them going in the first round, what's the biggest reason we're talking about them going home in the first round? Because you have defensive liabilities, and the likelihood is that you're going up against San Antonio, OKC, or Denver in the first round, because they're going to be the top 3 seeds in the West. You ain't beating any of those 3 teams. Not if you're the Los Angeles Lakers. By and large, everybody believes that. And so that's where their problem comes, particularly when you talk about the likes. Denver has depth and they have Jokic. But San Antonio has that eraser in Wembanyama, and OKC has a collective eraser because everybody on that squad plays defense and they come for you. So the Lakers don't really stand a chance. That's why you're looking at them and you're saying they're in dire straits. If they were the 4th or 5th seed and you had an opportunity to avoid one of those 3 teams in the first round, although you still probably would be at a deficit because you likely probably have to go against Houston, okay? The bottom line is somebody would give you a better chance because Houston's got issues at the point guard spot, and they struggle in the 4th quarter turning the damn ball over like they did 9 times against the New York Knicks on Saturday. But the likelihood is San Antonio, Denver, or OKC. And that's why we're looking at the Lakers and saying things seem a bit daunting.
Right, and listen, Houston's issue to me, and I watched that whole game on Saturday, is that they only have Durant who can score. In big games, Durant's going to score. And if Durant has a bad shooting day, as he did in the 4th quarter against the Knicks, they're going to lose. Because they showed it last year against Golden State. They couldn't throw the ball in the ocean in big spots against the Warriors. So they bring Durant in, who's one of the all-timers. We all love him. Great. And when he's on, he scores his 35 points, they can win. But there is a limit of what they can do offensively against a good team in a big spot in the 4th quarter. That's the problem I have with Houston.
Here's the bottom line. These 3 guys don't fit together. They're not working. Next year, they're probably only going to have Luka and Austin Reaves. And yesterday, Lon Rosen, who is their brand new head of basketball business operations, said that Rob Pelinka is, and this is not a surprise, but Rob Pelinka is going to remain in that seat and be the general manager. So it's now on Rob Pelinka to figure out how to use their cap space coming up this summer to reform around Luka because this triumvirate, it's not working. It's just not.
It's not working. And another thing is when you talk about Lon Rosen, or obviously a longtime agent, a big time figure in NBA circles, in sports figures altogether, incredibly close to Magic Johnson, represented Magic Johnson for years, very, very close to Jeannie Buss, very, very connected. So even though Rob Pelinka is going to be there, trust me, Lon Rosen is going to have a lot of say as to what goes on and what moves are made. And as it pertains to those three not fitting, we also have to remember that we walked into the season basically with this sort of arrogance we were all wearing on our sleeve, thinking, don't worry about it, LeBron James, the basketball savant, the four-time champion and four-time league MVP, would figure it out in terms of how to play with both Luka and Austin Reaves on the basketball court. Based on what we've seen, like Wendy has pointed out, that has not been figured out. So that is a story in and of itself. That LeBron, because Luka and Austin on the court together was sizzling. The three of them on the court together hasn't necessarily worked. That is a storyline to watch out for as this season continues to progress, because we certainly didn't expect that to happen when the caveat was that LeBron James was going to be coming back and he would need to figure stuff out. We expected that to be resolved, and that has not.
NBA